If asked, which is a peaceful country far away from everyone, most people would answer New Zealand. The southernmost inhabited country in the world is quite attractive with its unrealistically beautiful nature and interesting details. In this video, we will look at interesting facts about New Zealand. The country, officially the Commonwealth of New Zealand, consists of two main islands, north and south. It is located about 1,500 kilometers southeast of Australia. Its name is Zealand in Dutch, which means land of the sea, although Polynesian Maoris started settling on the island 1,000 years ago. It was first discovered in 1642 by the Dutchman Abel Tasman. After visits by the famous explorer James Cook in the late 1700s, British rule began in the region in 1840 and the first European settlers arrived. Today, 78% of the country's inhabitants are European, 14.6% are Maoris, and the rest are of Asian and Pacific descent. New Zealand is a constitutional monarchy under the reign of King Charles III. The king appoints the Governor-General, who is the head of the New Zealand government. Although this is how the hierarchy works, the monarchy is somewhat symbolic. The government under the Prime Minister makes its own decisions. However, there are two national anthems, God Save the King and God Save New Zealand. The islands that make up New Zealand are the parts that remain above water of the continent of Zealandia, which sank into the ocean many years ago. The continent of Zealand was submerged about 27 million years ago. People began to discover this continent through satellite images. In 2017, scientists began to explore this submerged continent. This continent is like a time machine for us. It allows us to go much further back in time, said Stefan Pekar, a member of the scientists' team. The country's flag has been the subject of public debate and a referendum in recent years. The flag of New Zealand features the flag of the United Kingdom in the upper left corner, like the classic former British colonies. On the right is the constellation Crux. This constellation symbolizes the country's location in the southern hemisphere. New Zealanders say the flag does not reflect independence and is confused with the Australian flag. In 2015, government officials launched an effort to change the flag. One of 5 new designs was chosen by officials, and a referendum was held to decide whether to use the old flag or the new one. In the referendum, the old flag was chosen with 56.6%. In World War I, the Anzac Army, which fought for the British at Gallipoli, was made up of Australian and New Zealand soldiers. New Zealanders have built monuments in many parts of the country to commemorate this war. One of them is the Ataturk Memorial in the capital city of Wellington. The location of this monument was chosen because of its similarity to Gallipoli. The peninsula facing Tarakana Bay resembles the Gallipoli Peninsula, Lyell Bay to the left resembles Saros Bay, and Cook Strait resembles the Dardanelles. There is also another Ataturk monument in Auckland, with the words of Ataturk's letter to the mothers of fallen Anzac soldiers. New Zealand is the country of sheeps. More than 43 million sheep live in an area of about 268,000 square kilometers. The population of the country is 4,800,000. There are nearly 10 sheep per person. In addition, humans make up only 5% of all living creatures in the country. It is the most frequented place for adventurers who love extreme sports. You can do a different extreme activity at almost every point. Especially for those who are interested in bungee jumping, the country is almost a sacred place. In fact, the first commercial bungee jumping organization in the world was held here. It was the first country in the world to give women the right to vote. Women were granted the right to vote in 1893, but it was not until 1919 that women were given the right to be elected. The tallest building in the entire southern hemisphere is the Sky Tower in Auckland. It was completed in 2014 and is 328 meters high. It is also the tallest human-made structure in the southern hemisphere. In New Zealand, you never become far from the sea. The country has 15,134 kilometers of coastline. This is the 9th longest coastline of any country. The farthest point of the country from the sea is 128 kilometers inland. They are used to living so close to the sea that 1 in 3 Aucklanders owns a boat. The steepest inhabited street in the world is Baldwin Street in New Zealand. Located in the southern province of Dunedin, Baldwin Street is 350 meters long and has a slope of 38 degrees. If the street were flat, the houses would look like this. Pharmaceutical advertising is prohibited in almost every country in the world. The two exceptions are New Zealand and the United States. Although the US has 5% of the world's population, it consumes 80% of the world's drugs. In 1990, New Zealand became the first country in modern times to officially appoint a national wizard. Yes, the country has an official wizard. Rotomayor Wenua, or as known Blue Lake in Nelson Lake National Park, is the lake with the clearest and cleanest water in the world. As a result of tests conducted in 2011, Blue Lake was found to be the clearest known naturally occurring body of water. The lake is 1,200 meters above sea level, and the deepest part of the lake is 80 meters. The water temperature is between 5 and 8 degrees throughout the year. People are not allowed to enter the lake. New Zealand has one of the highest obesity rates among developed countries. About 30% of the population is obese. In order to prevent this problem, the government has started a battle against it. Of course, immigrants are also affected by this fight. The authorities can reject the applications of immigrants above a certain weight. Immigrants in the country are also asked to lose weight. Immigrants who receive a medical certificate to lose weight and fail to do so can have their residence and work permits revoked. The image of a kiwi, a flightless bird, is on the logo of the New Zealand Air Force. The kiwi is the national symbol of the country. Despite its small size, it belongs to the same family as the extinct giant elephant bird of Madagascar. Kiwi birds, which are endangered, are protected. Of course, the Lord of the Rings series has contributed the most to the recognition of the country. After this movie, there was a significant increase in the number of tourists coming to the country. It is estimated that tourists who came just because of the movie spent about $4 billion. Even the Ministry of Lord of the Rings was established at the state level after this activity. Even though this popularity is declining today, the number of tourists increases again after each new Hobbit movie. Sign language used by people with hearing impairments is recognized as the third official language in New Zealand. As a result, government agencies and institutions that conduct legal transactions must have someone who knows sign language. The other official languages are English and Maori. Its closest neighbor, Australia, is home to many dangerous and poisonous insects, animals, and plants. Interestingly, there are no creatures in New Zealand that are dangerous to humans. For example, the capito found in other countries is a poisonous spider, but New Zealand's capito spiders are not dangerous enough to threaten human life. There are also no snakes, and the world's heaviest insect, the weta, lives here. Wetas are thought to have existed for 190 million years. Many people walk the streets of New Zealand barefoot. People in this country are particularly obsessed with dressing comfortably. Since there are no dangerous insects on the streets to threaten the human body, many people prefer to walk without shoes. Even in very official offices, such as law offices, you can see people without shoes. It is said that this habit is ingrained in the culture thanks to the Maoris, who love natural life. Every high school in the country has the right to have a certain amount of uranium and thorium for nuclear experiments. But if there is a nuclear explosion, there is a fine of $1 million. According to the Australian Constitution, New Zealand is one of the states of the country. New Zealand has the right to join Australia if they wish. One of the most intelligent animals in the world, the key parrot, is found only in New Zealand. Also known as the mountain jester, these birds are famous for their mischief. They may steal people's belongings for no reason, just for fun. For some unknown reason, they also like to eat car windshield wipers and the plastic strips around the windows. At Gisborne Airport in New Zealand, a railroad track runs down the center of the runway. The airport, which is also open to international flights, has 3 grass runways for light aircraft too. Although the railroad tracks and runways are tightly controlled, pilots landing and taking off here are always nervous. Harold Gillies, considered the father of plastic surgery as we know it today, was born in New Zealand. Gillies, an ear, nose, and throat specialist, performed operations on soldiers injured in World War I. He also developed numerous techniques as a result of these operations. The world's first transgender member of parliament was elected in New Zealand in 1999. Maori Georgina Bayer had previously worked as a sex worker. It is the country with the most cars per capita. There are 2.5 million cars in a country of 4,800,000 people. The driving license age is 15. Although there are so many cars, noise pollution is not very high. People do not honk in traffic unless it is absolutely necessary. New Zealand receives so many applications for immigration that if it accepted them all today, its population would be over 12 million. Television stations are prohibited from showing advertisements on national and religious holidays in the country. According to the Global Peace Index, it is the safest country in the world after Iceland. It is also the least corrupt country after Denmark.